Hello everyone and welcome back to Manor Lords, a medieval city building game with a real-time strategy element. In the last episode, we were able to upgrade our burgage plots to a level 3, getting us to our next settlement level, gaining us a development point. Harvest our rye to get the bread cooking, move our trading post a lot closer to the town so that we could try to improve our regional wealth and plant some more orchards to help with our food supply. And in this episode, we will be getting into a lot more burgage plots, as well as trying to fight the king's tax, move our city to its next destination, a medium town, get some weapons manufacturing going, and then tackling that food problem that we've been struggling with for most of the game. So if that is something that you're into, go ahead and hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't, and let's jump in to Manor Lords. Alright, so we've learned a couple things in our playthrough so far, and one of those things is we're struggling to get any kind of food to a lot of these places. I mean, it just seems like it's not working the way I intended. I don't know if there was a patch to mess with the marketplaces, but it really seems like the marketplaces, the strategy that I have, it's not really working very well. So I've come to a conclusion that I think I'm going to try to do something a little different. We're going to have a couple major central marketplaces and try to supply everything to these houses. Because the main goal would be that we go ahead and upgrade as many of these to level 2 and as many of these to level 3 as possible. To get ourselves to the small town, we're going to need 10 total burgage plots, and we only have 2, well, technically we have 3. And we need those development points. Why? Because I want to get into better deals as soon as possible. And as it seems that we're really struggling with food, getting into heavy plows, even though I have been talking bad about it the entire time, it's probably what we're going to have to do. I mean, trading the meat and trying to get more trapping, I just don't think it's really that necessary anymore. But the first thing I really want to do, well, we have all these empty level 2 burgage plots around here that I want to move up into orchards. So I'm going to plant as many orchards as I possibly can. And then I'm also going to destroy these 2 houses and make 2 massive orchards here. I'd love to do this one as well, but we may not be able to do that until after we get these houses rebuilt. And lastly, I'd really like to try to get our artisans going strong. I'd like to upgrade these to a blacksmith's workshop and a joiner's shop, and maybe a third one if I absolutely need it. But first things first, I'd really like to get these apple orchards going because they take 3 years and I don't have the time to wait. I'm thinking that if we just go ahead and put as many apple orchards in here as we possibly can, hopefully that'll get us an extra food supply and we won't have to worry about that so much. One of the main reasons for that is because I feel we have enough vegetables. We consistently have over 500 of these vegetables and I'm kind of considering not building anymore. But as we get more families, I'm thinking maybe one more will be okay. And that's kind of the reason that I want to turn these guys into orchards and this guy maybe into something like vegetables. So the first 2 things I want to get done is go ahead and turn this guy into a blacksmith because as you can see, we have plenty of iron slab as it is. We can get the iron slabs going quickly, but I want to keep an eye on this guy because I want to make sure he's making spears and not sidearms. I'd rather have spears first. The same thing goes for the house next to him because the joiner shop, well, we'll need the shields to make more spearmen. And I feel like having more spearmen would be handy. They are faster than the retinue and they cost less, lots less. Now before this burgage plot level 3 gets finished, one of the things I want to do is make sure that we have the space to go ahead and delete one of these. That way we can move those people into another house. Now, a little tip and piece of advice is do make sure you get rid of your goats before you delete the house. Or your goats, they'll stay around forever. And when I mean forever, in one of my playthroughs, they never went away the rest of the game. Now, as you can see, we have one spot available here in this house. We'll just up the priority to highest and hurry up and get it built so that we can destroy this other house. I can go ahead and do it now. That way we're a little on top of things. And it helps with getting rid of our supplies that are here. I'm gonna have to put somebody on this because we have shields and war bows, as well as some war bows here as well. I guess these guys were our archers. Now, unfortunately, we do have one family that is homeless, but that's okay because, like I said, this burgage plot isn't constructed yet, and it'll have space for them. It's just kind of like, you know, a moving day. They'll be all right. Now, I would like to keep those goats going because it is handy to have that leather for the shoes, and I really want to sell those shoes in the near future. So we have talked to the homeowners association, and they've been complaining about these people's trash in their backyard. So we're going to give them goats instead. If you like trash, so do goats. Now, I know I said I was going to save these for apples, but I don't know. It just seems like a good idea to get some goats in here. All right, there you go. Those goats will eat up all that trash. Now, another thing I'd like to try to get done is make sure that this malt house always has a person in it. The reason is I need someone to be making that ale, because now that we've supplied the ale to the community, if we run out, they'll get pretty upset, and we can't take that kind of hit on our approval. It gives you a negative buff of loss of entertainment, and we can't handle that. We need to keep our approval as high as we possibly can. We might even do some things to add some more clothing and some other amenities that people want. So while we have the time, I'd like to destroy this malt house and move it to a new location, a lot closer to the trading post. Hopefully that'll keep its efficiency a lot higher. But before we do that, I'd like to extend the road out here just a little bit. That way, in case we need to build some more things around the trading post, we have the ability to do so. And now we'll place this malt house just as close as we can to the edge of that road. And we'll make this at a low priority for now. We're not too worried about that. We've got quite a bit of construction going on and supply gathering as well. But it seems like they've already taken out the majority of the supplies here, and I would like to go ahead and start building the houses here. But before I do that, I want to try to chop down as many of these trees as I can for firewood. So we're going to move the woodcutter's lodge right here. So as you can see, we're struggling for families, and we need to reassign some people in a hurry to get some of this construction done. Right now, we've got 3 people in the communal oven. I don't think that's necessary, seeing as how we don't have anybody in the windmill. So we'll put 1 there and keep 1 back. We could take some people and start micromanaging the farmhouse, but it is getting somewhat close to autumn, which I don't want to mess with that if I don't have to. I think we have other ways of doing it. Upgrading houses to level 3 and building a couple new ones for the orchard, that seems the most important to me. So we got our notification that our blacksmith is done, so I went ahead and quickly paused the game so that I can go into this general tab and change them to a production of spears. Now you might ask, why do I specifically want spears so badly? Well, it only takes 1 iron slab, and we don't have very much iron. It also only takes 1 plank, and we're making plenty of that, and we can upgrade that if we want to. The sidearms, well, they take 2 iron slabs, and that's a lot more detrimental to the whole of our community. And sidearms, they just don't seem to do as well in battle, according to what I've seen. So we'll go ahead and make sure that we select the spears, and we'll focus in on that. The joiner's shop also seems to be done, so we will go ahead and make sure that he takes the large shields, because the large shields is what pairs with the spears. The small ones, yes, they only take 1 plank, but I'm not worried about it. We'll upgrade both of their construction reserves so that they have enough to get plenty of stuff in here. And seeing as how they're this close to the large storage, which has everything they need, shouldn't be too bad. Now we'll unpause the game and just let things rip, and try to get as many spearmen as we possibly can. As of right now, I only have the option for 20 of those guys, so hopefully we'll get as close to 36 as we possibly can. We've got enough people to do it, we just don't have enough spears and shields. Now we've just finished our first of 2 woodcutters lodges right here, and I want them to start clearing out this area. I really don't want to waste this wood if I don't have to, so I'm going to have them try to chop down all of these trees right here. That way I can put in my houses and, you know, not feel so bad about it. One of the next things I want to do is, honestly, I want to move all of our industry as close to the city as possible. And I've been scoping out a pretty sweet terrain over here. Now, we do have quite a bit of a hill here, and it'll probably tell us in some areas that we can't build there. But I do have this big plot here that I think we could utilize. We were able to put some things here earlier. So my hope is that if I can destroy all of that stuff, put all of our foresters and everything right here, a lot closer to our storage, I think that's going to benefit us. Then it'll be basically the last thing that we have way out here is our food supply, which it has been tough. It's been a rough go of it so far. But we've just been micromanaging it as best as we can to try to make sure that we stay above 10 here and, you know, forage every bit of these seasonal berries when they come available. So the first two things to go will probably be the clay furnace and the bloomery. Now we don't have the option to move those items, so I would if I could, but I can't. Now we are going to have a few supplies here that we'll have to clean up, but we can do that here in a minute. The big thing is getting the logging camp out here first. Now I know I'll destroy some trees while I do it, but perhaps we should bring the foresters up here first. I'm thinking the foresters along this road, and then a straight road out and the logging camps on either side of it. That way, everything is real close when we want to start building again. I believe we can relocate them. Whoa, enemy unit spotted. Oh no, that's not good. Well, the good thing is that they're kind of far away, so we should be able to get our troops in line to take them out. The bad thing is, man, we just don't have the retinue that we used to. I think we were up to 10, and I don't know, our treasury is low, and the king's tax, well, it's due annually. But I think we have to try to buy a few of these guys. I think maybe 2 more upgraded? What's that leave us with? Oh boy. How many more for just a full complement of those guys? It's going to be 50 plus another 30. That's 80. I think we have to do it. That gives us enough to pay the king's tax, but we may actually have to tax our people. Okay, I think that's the best that we can do right now. So let's go ahead and get all of our troops that we can. It's a good thing we've been making a few spears. I think we've gained one. We'll put our troops up here and we'll make sure they do not run, because that would be a terrible idea. But we'll make the archers shoot at will. So I'm going to try to get these guys up here as quickly as possible and hopefully fight in this clearing where we've fought many times before. Now, I don't think we'll get in place and get their attention before, so we'll probably have to use one of our archers, because archers are the fastest to kite them out. And as they're going in here to the forest, we need to keep a physical eye on them while we set up our troops, because you do lose them in the forest when they go in there. Their little icons will disappear sometimes, because, yeah, they're bandits and they're hiding. So we'll try to keep our eye on them as best as we can. I've got our troops set up to be over here, but we may change their direction and then just have our archers go out, kite them back to us, set up, and take them down. So a couple of our guys decided not to run until the last second, which was absolutely ridiculous, gentlemen. I understand we want to take these raiders down, but that was a little uncalled for and unnecessary. Now we're going to have to watch out for the flank over here, because they did separate themselves, and those dirty bandits, they do like to flank. But we do have a good grouping of the 3 of them. I just hope our retinue can take them out. Man, these are some really tough guys, but we finally got them, and all of the bandits are gone. And it only cost us 3 retinue. That's actually a lot of money. Oh boy. So we'll go ahead and bring our troops back, and we'll worry about that money another day. But thanks to Mr. Brandy 91, we learned a very valuable lesson about how the tax system works in the game. It appears that regional wealth and taxation kind of work hand in hand to gain ourselves our own personal treasury. So keeping your money high definitely is going to be incredibly useful going forward, which is why I want to get more into trading. Okay, so now that the raiders have been dealt with and we have some major problems of our own, hungry families and some very upset people, now's the time for us to get back to the city building part of everything. So let's get back to what we were doing, which is moving the foresters over here and getting our log production and timber production all figured out. So the first thing I want to do is probably move the foresters' huts right here on the edge of this road, as close to this as we possibly can. I'm going to leave a space there for a bit of a road. That way they can have a shortcut if they want. And speaking of a road, we'll go ahead and probably put this thing out, I don't know, about yay far, and we'll see how it takes it. Now the next thing to move is the logging camps. Now with the logging camps on either side of this road, the last thing to move is the saw pit. Now I'm not really sure if the saw pit is movable. I guess it is. We'll go ahead and put the saw pit right here, even though we are uprooting a couple of trees. Now the thing is, I want to get these guys on the highest and have them start kind of planting, I guess, in this area as soon as possible. Now the last thing that's over here is our stonecutters camp, but I don't plan on moving that anytime soon. I mean, we only have 151 stone remaining, and I'd rather just get rid of it, seeing as how we can. It does generate a bit of passive income, but it's not really worth it. But now that our wounded troops are back in our area, we'll go ahead and disband all of them and let them recover, because they fought hard, and I'm proud of you boys. So while that gets built, I want to go through and try to upgrade as many houses as they come available as possible. This guy right here has the upgrade house icon, and we can upgrade him to a level 3 burgage plot. Now we'll have to deal with him being really upset, but I need the families. I need them so bad it hurts. I mean, we only have 3 right now, but that's because I put the majority of the people that were working in the forestry area up here in this woodcutter's lodge, because I want to get the houses over here built and done. And I do want to just get rid of this guy. I want to make him a larger plot, and I want to cut these trees down first. It's a whole lot of wanting. Oh man, the lands have been stricken by a drought. Ugh, that's gonna really put a damper on our field harvest here. Yeah, it's going down really fast. I mean, these things were already in a bad situation. We were only gonna get 5 out of this one, 28 out of that. We did have a decent one there. Ugh. It is going to be a bad year. Crops are going to suffer greatly. But seeing as how that is a thing that can happen in the game, we're going to go ahead and prepare for the worst. There's a way to do irrigation, but I don't want to do that. I haven't tested that anywhere, and I don't want to test it off here. I think we're going to have to definitely go with the better deals right away. That way we can maybe try to save ourselves by importing a little bit of food. So I'm going to go ahead and get that one, and then probably we're going to be doing some heavy plow. I know, I talk so poorly about it, but in this situation, and the fact that we don't have any other food source coming in the very near future, I mean, our apples, they're not going to be doing good if it's a drought, I'm assuming. And these guys, they're not quite there yet. I think they need a good another year before we get a decent harvest off of them. And the ones we just planted, well, they're just saplings. They're not doing anything. Now, I've never experienced a drought in this game, but it looks like we're going to yield 1 on this field, 1 on this field, 4 here, and 3 there. I mean, it's saying I'm supposed to get 70, but I don't think that's true. Now, you do have this force early harvest thing. I'm thinking I might just go ahead and force the early harvest. That way, I don't have to worry about it. And at least I get something, because it's still dropping now. So I think we'll try to get our people going and doing that. I don't know if this is really working. Yeah, it says they're harvesting, so I guess we'll see exactly how much grain we get. Boy, oh boy, right when I thought we were kind of making a turn for the better, the game throws us for a loop. But on a high note, we did get all of our lumber production moved in over here, and it's mostly supplied with people so far. We have at least 1 person in each forester's hut, 1 in the logging camp, as well as 1 in the saw pit making planks. And we still have 2 unassigned workers, so that's a good thing. I mean, we do have 6 people chopping down as much firewood as possible, in a drought no less. But it does mean they're making really quick work here on this area, so we can start thinking about putting the houses in. Now my plan is to basically put houses back in here, about like this. Give or take a little bit of space in the back. And make these into just giant orchards back here. Something like this. One double house, big orchard in the back. I could probably put the house down as it doesn't take out any of the trees. The second house, it doesn't matter. We can just go ahead and plop that sucker in. One giant house with a whole bunch of apples. But I don't know if this works the same as vegetables, but we'll see if it does. So now with our industry moved and our 2 houses being built, the last thing I want to try to do is something that I've been saying is a bad idea this entire time. We're still having trouble getting food to all of the places, and we tend to get some grumpy people most of the time. I think it's time to just make a central marketplace with 2 smaller marketplaces on each side of the town. Still close enough to the granary to do some damage, but we'll just have those guys a little bit closer and more centralized with a lot of stuff. So I'm going to do this in kind of a wave. I'm going to start off by doing our little trick where we put 1 of each people in each of these. And then we'll put a small marketplace where I've put this road down. And we'll see if we can't get 3 marketplaces here. Perfect. There's 3 spots in this one. It'll be great. So we should get 1 firewood and 1 food and maybe a clothing stall if we're lucky. The firewood stall is already under construction, and we'll wait for the other 2. Alright, so a clothing stall, a firewood stall, and a food stall. Exactly what we wanted. So we'll go over here and do something very similar. We have food, firewood, and another firewood here, but we're just going to destroy the 3 of these. And we'll let the people come and pick up the supplies here. Now, unfortunately, I believe that if I destroy the marketplace here, I won't get the same kind of treatment for these guys. I'm going to leave these here for now. Now that those have been destroyed and the supplies are cleaned up, we'll use the exact same trick as we did before and try to make a spot that only 3 of the marketplaces will be available. It might be a little tricky, but would like it on the edge of that corner. Like so, maybe? Something like, oh boy. It's gonna make it difficult. I mean, 4 wouldn't really be too bad, but I really would like to try to get 3. Boom, just like that. Alright, so now we'll have a 3 marketplace here, hopefully a food, a firewood, and a clothing stall again. And then once that's done, we can probably destroy maybe this one and get them over there as well. Actually, I might go ahead and just do that right now. It's not really a convenient market, maybe for this house, but not for anything else, especially if we're going to put 1 large market. I just want to try to ensure the maximum amount of places here. We have a food stall and a firewood stall, and I'm hoping that we get 1 last clothing stall here. We'll just have to wait and see. Now, I've gone ahead and deleted this house here, and they've moved over to one of these burgage plot houses that had spots available. I believe that this one still only has 1 family in it, but this one might have 2 families in it now. And as you can see, our population is growing pretty good right now, but we're going to need more people. My next plan is to build another farmhouse. We're hand plowing all these fields now, so we're missing our opportunity currently, but I want to build a farmhouse about right here, along with a hitching post right next to it. That way we can start ordering some more oxen, because right now we're about maxed out with all of our spaces. And I'm going to buy another ox right now as well. And that way we can maybe even consider getting into the plow side of things here as quick as possible, because we've been saving a lot of money now that we have the trading post's better deals. Under the trade, it actually makes it a lot easier to get the barley in. It's down to 7. So now is the time that we really need to start thinking about importing a different type of food. So my thought is the cheapest is meat or eggs, but I'd like to try to get the meat in. So we're going to establish this trade route. We're going to import up to 50 of those meat. That's probably a bad idea, but I think we have a way to combat that. Here under the commodities, you can see that we have been making shoes like a madman. And those things, they're going to sell really well now. So I'm going to go ahead and open that trade route and export all the shoes that I can possibly stand. I think 20 will be a good number. So we'll sell quite a bit of those shoes and we'll be at 8 coin per shoe. That should help with the importing of that meat. We'll still gain a coin just because as a net, we'll sell the shoes and buy the meat. Now, granted, the shoes won't last that long, but once we start making enough spears, we'll start exporting those as well. Well, with this nasty thunderstorm, it does seem as though the drought is over. But with nasty thunderstorms comes other problems that I really didn't know about. Yeah, that's fires from lightning. Lightning strikes cause fires. So I hope we're able to put this thing out in a hurry because, yeah, it's going pretty strong right now. And I don't really see an end in sight. I don't think we really have a fire department in the area, and they're just throwing the buckets of water. I think something's wrong with this lady here. I hope she's okay. Was she the one struck by lightning? Maybe she's dying of a smoke inhalation. I think this house is on fire. Easy, buddy. Don't run into the fire. You're standing in the middle of it. Look at this lady over here. She probably tried to do the same thing. You know, most of our citizens are tough as nails. I don't think this place is gonna make it. No, we're not ready for the planks just yet, ma'am. It's a good thing that these things can be reconstructed. I mean, we're throwing buckets of water like crazy people on here, but it is not helping in the slightest. And our citizens just standing there staring at things probably isn't helping. But the good thing is I'm immortal, so I can just walk through the fire and not get hurt. Well, now that the storm has passed and everything is rebuilt, and, you know, winter is approaching, hopefully our fields will get reinvigorated a little bit. Now, we do only have 2 people, and the farmhouse is built. I would love to have populated this with those 2 people, but I just couldn't spare the population. We're still trying to cut down the rest of these trees, and I think it's time to just say we're done trying. And we're just going to plant orchards in both of these places. This will probably be the best thing that we can do as far as getting some more apples into our system. The other thing is I'd like to try to go ahead and put this last burgage plot in here. Make it nice and big, and we'll do this. It'll be a double, and then we'll do a lot of vegetables here. We don't have to do vegetables right now. Our vegetable count is doing really well, actually. The granary tells me that I've got 576 of those things, so I'm not really too worried about vegetables. I really need those apples as soon as possible. But again, it takes 3 years to get these apples to grow. That's a long time to wait for a juicy, red, delicious apple. But in the meantime, while we wait for everything, I want to go ahead and lay out this next set of fields here. I'd like to just go ahead and put a road down like so. But since we're doing rye, it shouldn't be that bad of a deal. Now, I want to try to keep it in the green as much as I possibly can because I'm telling you right now, that drought, it really did us in. So we'll go ahead and probably start the first field actually on this kind of bad spot and bring it up to about here, and we'll do a single Morgan per field. There we go, 6 more fields for our new set of families that's going to be our farmers to work in. We'll do a lot of the same things with crop rotation as well as setting them up with their different crops, but I'm going to wait until next harvest season to set all these fields up. I think that we got all of these planted and everything is good, so they should be in their growing season. Now, we did start it a little bit early, and we still don't have the plow, but we do have quite a few houses that we can upgrade, and while the opportunity knocks, I'm gonna take it. So while we wait and upgrade a few of our burgage plots to level 3s, I went ahead and put in another small marketplace over here, got our bloomery and our clay furnace in place, and populated them with some people. As you can see, we're importing all of the iron and clay already. The problem is we're just not getting enough materials to the people. So lastly, what I'm going to do is put a little marketplace right here that's fairly a large one. and just let the remaining spots that are in our place populate this as well as they can. Hopefully that'll help all of our burgage plots get the things that they need. We also have 7 families, and I think it's time to put at least 4 or 5 of them in this one, and maybe even try to get some of these right here planted this year. So we'll go ahead and do our usual rye, fallow, rye, and fallow, rye. With a 97% fertility on these, if they are able to get these kind of plowed and sown before we get too deep into the growing season, maybe we'll save ourselves a lot of bread. It probably will mean we'll need an extra communal oven, but that's something that we can put in this little makeshift industrial area that we have going on here. So I'm finally in the process of upgrading my 9th and my 10th burgage plot to give us our 10 to get our next development point. And I'm going to be honest with you, I'm probably going straight into heavy plow. I really want to get these farms going and get as much bread as I can, because bread is really a valuable resource. It sells pretty good. It sells for a trade of 4, and I think that if we go ahead and get that trade route going, we could sell some more bread. My spears are really starting to creep up, and we're at the amount that I want to start selling them at. I'm going to go ahead and open up and establish this trade route, and I'm going to export these so that I can try to make back some of that money that I'm currently making. I'm going to stick with 32 because 32 is a whole nother group or regiment of spearmen, and I want to keep that going. The same goes for the large shields. I want to go ahead and establish this trade route and export them as well, and try to get anything over 32 I sell. We're going to start making those pretty soon, and all we need for those is planks, and we don't really have that many. It's not like we don't have enough timber, it's just that we didn't have enough people. We have plenty of timber with 43, and our loggers are keeping up with them pretty steadily. So I just added another person, and maybe I'll even add another saw pit if I need it. I want to make sure that we're making those war bows and selling them, and we're making all those spears and selling them as well. Settlement level increase and a new development point for me. Why, thank you. So I'm going to go ahead and go straight into heavy plow. Now we can get 5 more burgage plots up to level 3. We'll finish this to a large town, and unfortunately, as the game is right now, that's your maximum settlement level. But I think upgrading our town from a medium town to a large town is something we'll have to do in the next episode. But if you did enjoy what you saw today, why don't you check out the links below? One is for Patreon, where support on Patreon gets your name in the credits, and I'll name a city or a character after you if I'm allowed. The other link down there is for Discord, where you can drop on in and say hello, chat with the community, or make a game suggestion of something that you would like to see me play. I have been streaming on YouTube, so if you see me go live and you want to jump on in, I would love to chat with you there. But as always, the best way to support is to like and subscribe, as it does help the channel out. Hit the notification bell so you can be alerted of any time any Manor Lords or any other content gets uploaded to the page. Hit one of the buttons at the end of the screen to see what else we've played, and don't forget to keep gaming for the love of games. Bye now.